Everybody got top 20, top 10. I'm over here got top 16, bitch, and a bonus. Judge me, it's fine, judge me, I don't care. So even though we got a shit ton of music this year, I'm surprised actually that it's only 16 albums that are my top. And even though there are albums that are not on my list that I really enjoyed, they're not on my list because they weren't top 16. They were probably like number 30 or number 20 or something. It's not really something that I feel like has longevity or has replay value where I'm gonna be listening to it a lot in the future. Like it was only good for this year or something. These 16 are ones that I feel like I'm gonna be still listening to next year or the year after and the year after. Let's start with number 16. Meek Mill's Championships was the first Meek Mill album that I listened to completely. And I like half of the album. It has a lot of highlights on there, and it's number 16 because it just wasn't better than these other 15. Tiana Taylor's keep that same energy. It's just there. I like Tiana Taylor. I feel like her album could have been better. I feel like she just has more to give. Like she was really held back. She just has more that she needs to provide, and it just wasn't all there on KTSE for it to be higher, but it was still good enough to be listening to it in the future. Florence and the Machine, High as Hope. This album was very short. It's probably, I think, the shortest that they've done. It's very spiritual, it's very gospel, it's very loud. The production is very big and crescendo and all of that. This one kind of flew under the radar a little bit. Coming at number 13, we have Carter 5, the long-awaited Carter album from Lil Wayne. It was fine. It was pretty good. Better than I thought. Even though I did not have high hopes for Carter 5, it still pleased me. A lot of tracks that I really enjoyed. Some of the songs sound dated, and Wayne does not skip a beat. Like, why am I talking so slow? Everything is love. Wait, what? Yes, Everything is Love. As time went on, I didn't love this album as much as I never loved it, but I didn't like it as much as I did. Kamikaze, Eminem. And this is the album where Eminem came out and just yelled at all of us for not liking Revival. I mean, he just pretty much shut all of us up. Kind of like me right now. It was like, I can still fucking rap circles around you niggas. I'm still the shit out here. Fuck you, eat a dick. All you niggas got shit to say about me. Fuck you, I'm better than you, I'm richer than you. I'm more talented than you. I'm sick of this mumble rap bullshit. And of course, he was being his very funny comedic self, as we love him to be. Just a little sprinkle of a beard there, a little extra anger there, because he was, I guess, disappointed in a lot of the critics and some of his fans who was telling him, we're not really fucking with this. Which, you know, we deserve that verbal ass whooping from Eminem, so I'm not even mad at him for doing that. Now we're in the top 10. Now I'm excited, and now's when the sun wants to go away and the lighting wants to be fucked up. Excited and actually awake to talk about some shit. Number 10, we have Black Panther, the album. New Day. So the Black Panther album had a lot to give. Deserves to be on the top 10 because it's a soundtrack album. We don't really rep soundtrack albums like that. The one movie that like brought it back was another Marvel movie, which was Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think we've been this hype about a soundtrack album in years. The Guardians of the Galaxy album was the last one that I can remember that people were really hyped over, but it wasn't anything like this. Like, this is arguably one of the best soundtracks in years. We had a compilation of different artists, mostly TDE artists, but even artists that were from Africa and different areas, London. Half these artists I didn't even know. Not only was it great content, great music for the movie that made sense for the film, it also showcased a bunch of new talent that not a lot of us saw or knew about before. Coming in at number 9, we have Oxnard from Anderson .Paak, which came out later on in the year, which was executive produced or maybe co-produced by Dr. Dre, I'm not sure. But you can feel the Dr. Dre sprinkled around the album, and I just think it's a really good, complete, cohesive piece of work. The majority of the album is great to me. Eclectic vibe of music. He has a little bit of reggae twang in there. He's speaking patois sometimes, you know, he's rapping, singing. You got Pusha T in there, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, like I said. It's just a different varieties of sound. At number 8, we have 21 Pilots' Trench. Arguably the best rock album of the year. I don't listen to rock like that, so so this is really subjective. Another album that has a variety of sound. It's mostly rock at the core. The general sound is rock, but you hear elements of hip-hop, you hear elements of pop, of dance music. It's clearly Tyler and Joshua playing around with sounds and playing around with what they can do. The lyricism is fantastic. Like, they really sat down and wrote quality. No two songs sound the same, and there's also a whole movie type visual that goes along with the music. Great work from them, and my favorite album from them, and I think their best to date. Coming in at number 7 is Queen. Now, the whole rollout for Queen was kind of fantastic and even greater than the album. Not only did she promote it like hell throughout the year, but she also put out a podcast with Queen Radio on Apple Music along with her album, and I thought that it was really smart on her part to market it that way, and at the same time put her album out around the same time as the whole Tekashi thing, where she had the big Fifi hit with him, and add that on her album. So I just thought it was really smart, and her album is now platinum. Coming at number 6, we have Pusha T's Daytona, which I believe is named after a watch, which had that controversial cover of Whitney Houston's bathroom with all of her stuff around it that Kanye bought at an auction. Yeah, that was interesting. The album itself was really good and one of the best rap albums this year. Probably Pusha T's best year of his career, with an album that just had 7 tracks on it. Coming in at number 5 is the best damn album that's not in hip-hop this year. Beach House's 7. Arguably the best Beach House album. Definitely my favorite Beach House album. Just so eclectic and amazing. Like, sonically, it's just a beautiful album. Definitely deserves to be in the top 5 of albums of the year, even if it was kind of flying under the radar. But this is like my shit genre of music, my favorite type that's outside of hip-hop, because it's just feel-good music. Like, it's the type of music that you listen to when you're sitting on a roof looking at stars. And I am that type. I am a celestial sucker. You'll learn that about me. Coming in at number 4, we have KOD by J. Cole. Kids on Drugs, or King of Drugs. I remember there was this whole thing about what does KOD mean. It was, of course, had all the controversies that go on in America with race and kids and Percocets and Molly's and Xanaxes and all these drugs that these kids are taking, because it's just glorified in hip-hop and glorified in mainstream media, because hip-hop is mainstream media is hip-hop nowadays. Hip-hop is like running shit, and all these kids that are like, this is like a real epidemic. Like, a lot of people in America are dying from drugs. Like, we don't really talk about this, but it's like the number 2 killer after like disease. People just ODing constantly, and drugs just like fucking up people's heads. That's basically what his album was about, but at the same time it was also about money and what we do for money and clout chasing and all of the crazy just trolling shit that happened. He also kind of went at Kanye a little bit. Like, he discussed Kanye and his disappointment in him, and it's just an all-around great piece of work. At the same time, even though he's talking about all of this deep ass shit, it's also really good like hip-hop, like bop music that you want to like dance to and stuff. You want to like bop your head to. Conscious rap that's also dope. Like, he's like a little bit of Common, a little bit of Jay-Z, and it just meshes really well with J. Cole. He's just really smart. Literally top 3 of young rappers. He doesn't show any signs of stopping. He doesn't show any signs of losing it, which people will say later on in your career. I think this is maybe his 3rd or 4th album, and around this time people will say, you know, you're losing it at this time. He's not. Like, he's still out here fucking shit up. I appreciate J. Cole a lot, and I'm glad that he's not being safe and he's just putting out music that he feels is necessary, which is talking about the shit that's in our communities, which he's always done in his career. So yeah, kudos to him. That's my number 4. Now we're in the top 3. Oof. What's my top 3? Number 3 is Astroworld. Now, I don't know about y'all, but Astroworld was such a fucking surprise for me, because I wasn't a Travis Scott fan per se. I liked the dude, I liked Rodeo, but I wasn't really, oh my god, like I was waiting for Astroworld. That wasn't the case for me. And if you've seen my Astroworld reaction video, you'll see that I was genuinely surprised, and I was looking crazy in that video too, so you can watch that. I've said this before, but my favorite band is Tame Impala. Abel the Weeknd is probably my favorite R&B musician right now, even though he makes like alternative R&B. But Frank, I'd like cry just for a second just by saying Frank, my nigga. Drake, John Mayer, James Blake, Stevie Wonder. What? A bunch of other people that I don't really love, but I appreciate them because they sound good on the album, like 21 Savage and that guy in Can't Say. I don't know him, but he sound good. I fuck with Sicko Mode, obviously, Stargazing, Carousel, Coffee Bean, Houston Fornication, 5% Tint, Can't Say, Skeletons is my shit. That's the Tame Impala track with Pharrell. I forgot to say Pharrell is on the album a little bit. This album is all around dope. You see how I know all of the names of the songs on the album? I don't know that for nobody else's album. I don't never know the names of every damn song. And I'm not a fan. I'm a fan now, but I was not a fan of no damn Travis Scott. I did not know him like that, you know what I mean? He usually was just like the dead man in hip hop. It was like I never heard him talk. Like, I don't know anything about him. He's barely have his eyes open whenever I see him in videos. This, like I said about J. Cole, this was Travis Scott's year too, the best year of his career, because my God, and I'm pretty sure his album is platinum now too, or probably even triple platinum for all I know. Now we in the top 2. What's my number 2? What can possibly be my number 2? Kitsy Ghost by Kitsy Ghost, Kanye and Cudi. Listen, I know we supposed to like hate Kanye because he's like Kanye Lewinsky now, but the man knows how to produce music. This year, he put out his Wyoming 7. The production on all of those albums were stellar, but the production on Kitsy Ghost was off the chain. It was on another level. I expected to not like it or think it was fine or okay because I didn't love Ye. I thought Ye was all right. It wasn't great like the Kanye that I knew that put out Dark Twisted Fantasy and put out Graduation and Late Fucking Registration, which is his best goddamn work. It wasn't that Kanye, so I expected Kitsy Ghost not to be that great, and it like farly exceeded my expectations, my nigga. Shit made me cry, you know what I mean? Like, every song too. The only song on that album that I don't love is the Mos Def song. Everything else, the level of production, and even some of the songwriting, especially on Cudi's part. It wasn't a great rap album. It was just a great album. You know, I don't want to put it in the rap or the hip hop category. It was just great music put together that had hip hop elements in there. Obviously, because Pusha and Mos were there and Kanye was rapping too. But to say it was one of the greatest rap albums of the year would kind of be limiting in my opinion, because it's not just a rap album. It's a great piece of work. It's a great piece of music, similar to Astroworld. Because you know, when you say rap album, you kind of just, you limit it to just being that, and it's not just that. Anybody could listen to Kitsy Ghost. 80-year-olds and 2-year-olds. Like, a 2-year-old could listen to Reborn and be transcended and love it and just want to be a musician now because they heard those elements in music that I can't even figure out what instruments they're using on this album. What are these instruments that they're using, Mike Dean? Because I can't solidify any of this. That's definitely the second best album of the year. But what's the best album of the year? A$AP Rocky's Testing. Testing, nigga. I listened to Testing late. Testing came out, I think, spring. I didn't hear it till like the beginning of summer because I didn't know about it. And at the same time, just like Travis, I wasn't really looking for him. I wasn't really checking for A$AP Rocky because even though I really fuck with his first 2 albums, he kind of went into like the fashion world and did acting and did all, and he kind of like deaded rap a little bit. Like, he wasn't even really being featured and shit. So I wasn't hearing him as far as the music world. So I was like, oh, you putting out something? Okay, I'll listen to it eventually. And then I'll listen to that shit. Nigga. It did take a few listens. No, on the first listen, I loved half the album. But it did take a couple more listens for me to fuck with that other half. And when I started fucking with the other half, I was like, oh, okay. You back, ASAP. You trying to fuck with all these other rappers again, because I don't know what happened, but I guess he saw the game, the hip hop game, and was like, yo, I feel like I'm missing, like my voice is missing. And it was. And he can spit, he can rap, and he's rapping his ass off on this album. Testing is his best album. Best album, better than the first two. Just like the other two albums in my top 3, every single song on here is phenomenal. Every single song on here sounds different. He sounds different, the sound is different. All of the features are perfectly placed, especially FKA Twigs. She's perfectly placed. She's exactly where she needs to be on this album. Whoever produced it, I don't even know, because I don't research shit. Did a good job. Like, I don't research music. I'll research the fuck out of movies, but I won't research music. So yeah, that's my top 16. And my bonus album, and what would have been my number 1 if it came out this year, but it didn't, is Miguel's War and Leisure. That is really my number 1. That's what I listened to the most this year, and my favorite piece of work this year, where I loved every single track. But that came out 2 weeks before 2018 started. Not even 2 weeks, like a week and a few days. That's not my number 1 because it didn't come out this year. But if it had, that would have been my number 1. Everybody else would have been bumped down. So that's my top albums of the year. Yes, sirree. That testing. You know, if y'all disagree with my list, I mean, of course you do. It's subjective. And if we all had the same list, that would be boring. But go back and listen to these if you ever thought you hated them or you really didn't like them and you don't think they belong where they belong. You go back and listen to them and you rethink that. It really is just the music, sonically, how everything just makes me feel and just transports me somewhere else. That's what I love about art, about a painting, about music, about movies. They transcend me somewhere else and they make me visualize the world. It's kind of like anime. When we watch anime, you just are transported into a different world. Yeah. So let me know what you guys think of my list in the comments below, and what your top albums are of the year that's ending in 2 days. What do you think the best album was? Are you mad at me that Nazir wasn't on here? Don't belong here. Are you mad that Jid wasn't on here? I just started listening to Jid, so it can't be on here. What are you mad about? Let me know in the comments. Alright. Deuces, triple dub.